What's happening? Back again, round three. I think I'm only here because I tried to listen to some content and just not feeling it. I'd rather listen to me. No pressure. We just fucking around on this one. See, we got 2 hours and 14 minutes to the delivery. Although I'm looking at the facility, looks like we're going to get there right about lunchtime. Some of these places, it'll say we go to lunch from 10 to 11. So you're going to have to wait till we get back, partner. Although that may not be the case here. We'll see. I still don't know if it's a drop and hook or live unloads. And once I get out of there, it's a deadhead to tomorrow morning's pickup. So probably just, I usually hit anywhere between 500 and 600 miles, probably pretty close to 550 a day. So we'll be around 4:30. So maybe drop another 2 hours, assuming we can get unloaded. Shout out to Chad. I see somebody down there. They're finally out of traffic. It's been cruising for a bit. Shit. I think I'm going to, as soon as I can get to Walmart, I'm getting a new. This coffee mug, man, it's a leaker. She's a leaking. Somebody walking the interstate. Don't see that every day. There's coffee all over my clothes. Why not? Black fella. Could be a truck driver. Yeah, I think maybe his rig broke down. Who knows where he's going? I would pick him up, but I don't think the company's having any of that. So. Sorry about your luck, fella. Yeah, there's an exit up here. It's going to be a minute. A couple miles, maybe, from where he's at. I didn't really see what his truck was, but probably one of them box trucks, straight trucks. Box truck game. Shout out to the chat. Yeah, I've been on one today, Jack. Yes, sir. But yeah, the content. I'm thinking now it's probably not even worth the money to get another year of YouTube Premium, but I guess I will because I see so many people bitching about the ads, the frequency of the ads in the comments. I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. I guess that's next month. That's my 1 year's done. Cell phones, man. I've been looking at phones on Amazon. That's definitely an area that they're. I don't know if people are just paying. If people are willing to pay more, or if I'm less attracted to the cheap phones than I used to be. But it's expensive. Uh, I don't know if my Pixel 6a needs a new battery or what, but battery tends to drain. Not every time though, but at times it drains very quickly, and it crashes sometimes. I have to reboot it. Not into that. Since I'm using US Mobile, but I only ever use Verizon, I didn't even realize this, but when I paid for an entire year of service, I paid $450. It actually allows me to switch to T-Mobile or AT&T as need be, right? I'm assuming it's not instantaneous. It's probably some sort of lag time, but I don't think it's too long, maybe 30 minutes. If I'm ever in an area, because Verizon, like Fort Smith, Arkansas, that shit don't work in Fort Smith. Verizon is just it. Like at my dad's old apartment, it was effectively just unusable at his apartment in much of Fort Smith for whatever reason. T-Mobile worked great though. So, not that I'm planning to go back there, but if I ever was, it'd be nice to have that option versus locking myself into visible wireless on Verizon, which does seem to offer better deals, right? But is it a better deal? It's by time this this coffee mug is a complete disaster. I guess if the lid gets in the proper, just lucky area, it doesn't leak. This thing just leaking all over me. So glad I washed my clothes recently, right? This fanny pack has gotten so bad. It was already dirty from the homelessness in Los Angeles. All manner of apricots and beets and beet juice, and coffee been spilled on it. I'm kind of wondering if it's gonna hold its shape to a machine wash. It says do not machine wash, but that doesn't necessarily mean it. So once I'm gonna buy another one just like it, run this one through the wash. Through the wash. Shout out to Rick. Oh yeah, man, I'm doing great. Right back at you. Right back at you, sir. All is well, my friend. I think we're going to do another year of the US Mobile at 450. It's worth the extra money potentially because it looks like they have a version that's 390, I think, or 360 a year, or 390. But I don't think that includes the being able to switch to the other networks, which I will probably realistically never use. But again, I do remember when I was with Balkan, they were sending me the trucking company. They were sending me to Phoenix so often, and I would end up parked at the Pilot in Avondale, if I'm saying that right, Avondale. And I was on AT&T prepaid at the time, and it just did not work there. And I, bobtailed over to Verizon and switched over to Verizon prepaid, which was actually pretty fucking expensive, but I streamed with it a lot, and they never slowed me down. So I guess it was worth it. But I switched solely based on that shit don't work right here, where I was going often. So it would be worth the money just to, at least, and that's also the path of least resistance. The least hassle is just I've got my payment method set up. Whenever US Mobile decides, a couple of days before my service is up, right? They're just going to auto pay they're going to take 450 out of my account and bingo bango 1 year of service, right? It's there's something to be said, especially for a fellow, living on the road, living at my workplace and all of this. I will pay. It's still a good deal, but there is sometimes it's just leave me the fuck alone, right? Just let me have my phone service and leave me alone. And it'll definitely be worth it though if I can manage to get my hand on one of these Google Pixel 9s that they're offering for $400 plus tax. So with a tax and a case, I'll be right at $450 for a new phone, which is this $300 I paid for this Pixel 6a. That's the most I've ever spent on a phone, and then now we're going up another. Of course, that was before tax. So I guess with tax, yeah, it's $330. There's your 33. Then I paid like almost 30 for a case, so that was three. So that's only $100 more. If you think about it, right? There we go, justifying ourselves. Yeah, it's only $100 more. And what's $100 these days? You know, for me, it's I don't know, it's 180 miles of driving, I guess, something like that. 165. I don't know however that math works out at 55 cents a mile, which I figured recently. And I do got to get my head out of my ass and start collecting my receipts, because a lot of this stuff, a lot of my expenses are actually tax deductible. Anytime I pay for parking, that's tax deductible. Those receipts so far, that's probably $100 right there already. So part of me just doesn't give a fuck. But yeah, I need to start hanging on to my receipts. At least take pictures of them on my phone. Well, that's another thing. Half these receipts, if they get warm, you know, it's thermal paper or thermal ink or whatever, you look at them later and it's like it's a fucking blank piece of paper. You know, so you kind of have to take pictures of them, right? I guess hypothetically, you know, there would be a record somewhere based on whatever fucking encoded number is on the receipt. As long as I take a picture of it, I guess I'm probably all right. But when Caesar comes for his property, right? When Caesar comes for what's his. And then they say, you know, if you don't pay every quarter, they can penalize you up to 10%. It's like, is that real? I mean, I don't know. If I've actually got the money, I figure they'll just settle, right? I mean, people are like, yeah, it's the government, they have guns. Yeah, I understand that, but it's also a business, right? Just like everything else. Don't they just want the money? Maybe at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, we don't even care about your receipts. We just want the 25% or whatever. Which maybe I need to become a Texas resident again, because the feds might be like, yeah, go ahead and break off 7% for Arkansas, and now we're at 32%. Fuck. I know I can just save whatever I need to save. That's not going to be a big deal. I save money anyway. Like even if I wasn't saving for the taxes, I would still be saving. What's the fucking difference? You know, if I manage to work more than a few months, if I work 6 months, I'm going to have half my pay. You know? It'll be even more than that since there's no taxes coming out, since I'm 1099. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Bear with me. We're going down a long ass hill with the engine brake on. Making sure we don't speed too much. Might end up having to contact Amazon, because I have these products that I need are sitting at a Whole Foods Amazon counter in Dallas, and I have no idea when I'm getting back there. At some point, they're going to send them back to Amazon. All right, I guess I'll just slow down to nothing so these morons will finally get around me. Or let's just ride. Let's just ride with each other for 10 miles. I don't understand people. I really don't. New York, well, maybe that explains some of it. I'll just be left alone on an otherwise open road. Is that okay? Is that all right? Pretty please. Uh-oh, must have fell away from proper identification. I feel a little bit of annoyance there. I've allowed myself to become annoyed. Yeah, I do really good with the traffic, but even me every once in a while, just every once in a while, it's annoying. I allow it to annoy me more correctly. There they are, just in the fucking way, going just as fast down the hills and just as slow up the hills as if they're a big rig. Gotta love that. It's like they're driving 18-wheelers. Is this a truck lane? Is this a truck climbing lane? And so now I'm looking at options for while I'm driving a truck, I am able to justify um, a second line of cell phone service. So I'm trying to decide, although that would potentially make less of a reason to go with the US Mobile, because then if I'm on a different network, although that would then make it me able to get the second line on Verizon, actually, which is my preference. It's the best overall. I think we can all agree. Overall, it's the best. May not be the best in your area, though. If you're almost always in one area, then obviously you would want to get whichever one works the best in your area. Which is another thing about highly suspect. We were talking about maybe me going down there and hanging out with him for a while, and he couldn't even figure out what was the best cell phone provider in his area. It's like, can't you just ask around, you know? And he kept talking about how there was a 5G tower right by his house, but didn't seem to know. But he kept talking about how his service always sucked or whatever. It's like, okay, bro, if there's a tower within sight of your house and your service sucks, I'm just going to go ahead and assume whatever equipment is on that tower is probably not. You're probably not on that network. I'm guessing. So that's what I'm trying to say is, can you figure out what works good near your house, and then because if I'm going to come there, I'm going to need to have proper internet. Just never could pull it off somehow. It's strange, bizarre, hard to understand what that was all about. Like somebody's got to know what cell phone service works in your area. Or not. And see, and you can't trust some of these companies either. That's another thing. I know US Mobile works, and I was able to, port my number over, and it just, so I'm pretty sure when I get my new phone, I don't believe I'm going to have any sort of problems, activating the new phone and everything. $400 Pixel 9, if I can manage to figure out where to send it to receive it through the mail. And thanks, bozos. They slowed me down so much now I can't get up this hill. Thanks. Decaf, by the way. Decaf coffee we're drinking. Delicious. Delicious. Yeah, I was looking at Total Wireless, although I think you have to port over a number, so this might be a no-go anyway, but if you bring your own phone, it's like half off. So You can get actual unlimited on Verizon for like $25 a month with the taxes and the fees. But then I was reading up on that, and they were talking about there was a separate promotion, and people were like, "Yeah, they just that we signed up for the promotion, and then we got the promotion for a few months, and then just out of nowhere, they jacked the price up on us." And then it was, then we had to contact their bullshit customer service, and to varying degrees of success at getting it put back to the proper price, right? Like, I don't have time for that. I'll just pay more potentially, right? Uh, and then maybe, just pay a little more money or the same money in the long run, or just, sort of sidestep the opportunity to pay a really motherfucking cheap price, except if the corporation decides to screw me, then I'm just screwed. And then with my current ethos, would I even bother to waste the time, to get it unfucked, right? It's like, how much is my time? What's my time worth? Seemingly, my time is worth making enough money to just drop an entire year's worth of cell phone service onto the company. And then meanwhile, it's at a discount. So I think what I have is 44 a month, I believe, and then if you pay for a whole year, it brings it down to 37.50. It's like not a huge discount, but it's more so that just I'm not having to think about it, And people are like, "Oh, auto pay, auto pay." It's like, yeah, that's fine, except I slept in a motherfucking car in Los Angeles for 6 months or more, and never had to worry about, have I collected enough cans and bottles or gotten enough donations to pay my cell bill this month? It was never a concern. It was like, oh yeah, I have cell service until a certain time. I like that. Same thing with my car insurance. Although I don't know if I'll do another year of car insurance. Maybe I will. We'll see. Because I don't know if I ever decided to sell my car, if it broke down or whatever. I'm assuming they would give me a refund. What's the hassle of getting my hands on that money? I don't know. If you've ever tried to cash an insurance check before, although I guess Cash App, I could just deposit it. I think. Who knows? The transactional society. All of these transactions. What's it all about? Just so I can speak with you fine folks through the internet again. Listen to some YouTube on occasion. Way station 8 miles, 14 open spaces. Our attorneys get you the big bucks, says the billboard lawyer advertisement. CBD hemp dispensary. And this has been one of the worst things, man, is that if anybody remembers when CBD first became a thing, it was because people knew that meant it won't get you high, right? And with, especially in the South, Kentucky, by the way, one of the worst states for prohibiting THC, right? And the idea of getting high, one of the worst states for that. Quite oppressive. But then under the 2018 Farm Bill and hemp, industrial hemp, and then the loophole created by defining exactly what do we mean by Delta 9 THC, and meaning everything that does not meet this specific definition of Delta 9 THC is now, some version of a hemp product, right? Meanwhile, I can promise you from my own experience, there's all sorts of cannabinoids that are quite psychoactive that are not legally delta 9 THC. Will get you fucked up. So that sign that says CBD hemp, they probably mean come in here and buy something to get fucked up on. But then some people just want the non-psychoactive pain relief, right? Bro, are you hauling ass or going slow? It's like he's doing that goes fast and slow simultaneously thing. I'm going 75. I was going 75 and not passing you. Now I'm going 69 and you're not pulling it. Like, what is? How can you go both at the same time? It doesn't make sense. It makes that's defies the laws of physics. Because I'll either slow down and get behind, or I'll speed up and get in front. But somehow it's not possible because he's going slow and fast simultaneously. How is that even possible? Merging onto the interstate without varying. By the way, without varying the speed. Now, some of that would necessarily be in relation to my speed. Yes, I understand that, but still, like, what cruising speed is he going to settle in at? Is the question. Man, I will say this: the lemon juice, the lemon water, first thing in the morning, has been excellent for my energy levels, but it's fucking my teeth up. I can tell that. And yeah, I rinse them off. I brush and then I drink the lemon water, and then because you're not supposed to brush after the lemon water within like 30 minutes apparently. Then I'm rinsing my mouth right away, and it's still fucking my teeth are getting way more. Every day they're more and more sensitive. Somehow. Part of that's probably just aging, though, right? I think that's somewhat normal for getting older. I guess. Then people start saying dentures. It's like, I'm good looking, you know. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but dentures is fucking. That's a one way. That's a one way trip to no longer being good looking. There's nobody with dentures that keeps their looks. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's just a fact. It's not possible to get dentures and then still be good looking in 5 years or whatever. It's just not. Sorry. Don't kill the messenger. I didn't make it that way. Like if I'm choosing between retaining some measure of decent looks, or I got to deal with some sensitive teeth, I guess I'll just deal with the sensitive teeth. Ah, dentures. Can't be on here doing hours of live streams of whistling dentures. Kidding me? Yeah, into the great unknown here of yet another major corporation facility. What are they going to do? I already looked at it on the satellite view. It looks fairly tight, but I actually do okay in the backing up when it's as long as there's enough room. Sometimes it's actually a little easier when it's fairly tight because it's like less open space to fuck up into, if that makes sense, especially on the setup. I know I remember one time I delivered at this place in New Jersey, and I could just see based on like how their little facility was laid out. I was like, oh, there's exactly the perfect amount of space for me to be able to set up and back in. So it kind of like takes the guesswork out of it. Can't really fuck it up at that point. Here's the way station. This direction it doesn't say. The other side says open rather. So I'm going to assume there's nothing going on my side, and the other side is the people entering Kentucky. Got to be getting somewhere near the state line, presumably. No signal though. Go ahead, you good to go. Oh, here it is. Yeah, we're good. Oh, it is open. Shit. I swear they just turned the sign on, saw what I was doing. Oh yeah. Wow. I got the red light and the fucking I swear I saw the light come on. It's almost like they saw me thinking I was gonna pass right there. Say, we'll pull him in anyway. So we need to pull him in. He thinks he's just gonna go right past our way station. Could be a coincidence, although I don't believe in those. Either way, the surveillance state just took my picture, light flashing. So we got the bypass, so we're good. We're good. Well, and sometimes they control the sign from inside, and sometimes they don't want to pull too many in at one time. Also, so it could have just been the timing of turning the sign back on, but it sure did coincide with me passing that truck back there and then getting the red signal to pull in. But it's all good. I don't mind. Bother. Oh yeah, they pulled in a bunch of them behind me. So that's what it was. They probably had too many in here at one time and had to turn the sign off. Because I look back, there's 10 trucks pulled in right behind me, but there's only like 3 of them in the weigh station. So yeah, see, I thought it had to do with me, but it did. There are the DOT man will pull some shenanigans from time to time. Make no mistake. Some of them are strict. And I like to say I've never gotten a ticket in truck driving. That's not strictly true. I got one in Mississippi because I fucked up and I thought that I didn't think anybody was at the weigh station, and I guess they had just opened. But the sign says open, so I just, sometimes the sign will tell you to come into the weigh station. This happens in Arkansas and Mississippi, but then you drive through the weigh and there's just nobody there. So I went way too motherfucking fast through the weigh station, and they pulled me in and wrote me a ticket. And I forget the charge exactly, but I knew from experience. I had a feeling, man, from my experience in Arkansas driving a car where I had all these I had like one speeding ticket a year, and none of it ever went on my record. But I had to make sure to pay the fine. And, so I sent them the check, and it never showed up anywhere on my record. Whatever little bit of money they want, I could just kind of tell they just want the money. This little podunk county, they just want the money. I ain't worried about dinging anybody's driving record. And I got to looking at the ticket, and he checked the box that said non-CDL, and he also checked it was not technically a moving violation. So I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they just want the loot. I don't think they're interested in dinging my driving record here. So I used my judgment, which I was like, yeah, fine. Here's your $150. Who cares? Keep that shit off my record. And that's what I used to do with all my speeding tickets in Arkansas. I just go to court, say plead guilty, and I'm like, hey, all I care about is keeping this off my record. I don't need that insurance going up. And every single time the judge would go, you can pay this today? Absolutely. I'll pay it before I leave this building. No fucking problem. All they want is the money. I figured that out, when I was 24 years old. I was like, oh, they just want the money. So my one speeding ticket a year. Here you go. Have at it. Let me get up out of here and not just don't report it to my insurance. All good. Never got a lecture on my driving or nothing. They just you can pay today. Absolutely. I got the money right now. What do y'all want to check? You want cash? What y'all want? I got you. Here's the rare truck stop with a Walmart right next door. But I would be inclined to pull in, except I did all my shopping yesterday. So fully stocked up on eggs, almost fully. Coming up with the interstate. So missed opportunity there, but realistically, it's like, what am I? I don't really need anything. It's tempting though, based on the convenience factor. Plus, I am, depending on how long it takes to, I need to get to the shipper directly instead of dilly dallying, or the receiver rather, just in case it takes a minute or two. Although if it takes 2 hours or more, at that point it doesn't really matter. Although I still don't want to use a split break because then that pushes my start time in the morning. The earlier I can start my day, the better for me. We're making the right choice. Plus, it's Podunk, Kentucky. They may not have my product. They may not have what I'm after at the Wally World. But I always need something. Always gonna need something out of Wally World. What up, Rebecca? Rebecca Joe? Is that OTW? I think I see OTW News. OTW. Our Quebecer, Quebec, Canada. Eastern Kentucky University. Trying to remember, I went to one of these schools many, many, many years ago in a former lifetime. That might have been Western Kentucky, though. I can't remember, but I went to one of these campuses when I used to work when I was in IT, long ass time ago. That would have been like 98, 1998, somewhere in there. I don't remember which school. I want to say Western Kentucky University, though. That Eastern Kentucky reminded me of that, seeing the sign. Bojangles, I used to like them sausage egg biscuits out of Bojangles. I don't eat that stuff anymore, though. Quite tasty, I must admit. Is this a slow merging bozo? Looks like it. But, hey, as long as they let me get by first. Man, these people can't drive. Some of them. The only one with the brain said, "Fuck it, I'm out," and they went straight for that They went straight for the fast lane. They're just like, fuck it, I'm passing all these bozos. Good on you. I mean, who could foresee that gigantic truck and then that gigantic hill? And who could foresee, that this might be a slow proposition? I don't know. Not these people, certainly. What up, Raz Van? Good to see you, sir. About 90 miles out from the delivery, climbing up these hills to Knoxville, Tennessee, up and down the hills to Knoxville, Tennessee, home of the University of Tennessee Volunteers. One of the worst places I've ever gone when back in my traveling around the country, living out of a backpack, hitchhiking, taking the bus some of the time, walking some of the time. Back in them days, the absolute worst treatment I've ever received was Knoxville and the general vicinity, eastern Tennessee, a little bit of western North Carolina, but definitely eastern Tennessee. Also, Sevierville, north of Dollywood, north of Gatlinburg, was also quite inhospitable, which is not that far east of Knoxville, as I recall. Yeah, they do not like homeless people. No, they do not. Getting hungry. I've already eaten all my food until might be going to. It might be early egg time today. Goodness. The increase, but we got to digest this stuff, man. It's a picnic. Oh man. Am I out of things to say? Surely not. It doesn't seem possible. Still feel like there's some things I wanted to cover with the spiritual topics, but not exactly sure. I think I covered most of it. But I know there's some things I left out here and there. Having trouble remembering. OTW, aka Yakub. I am a fan of the whole Yakub story, I must say, overall. I don't know if that's like the real history necessarily, but I don't know. I don't know if that's. I just don't know, man. I get a kick out of that story. Is all I can really say. It's like, where did white people come from? It's a bit of a mystery. They're like, well, the Caucasus Mountains. It's like, yeah, okay, I understand that part of it, like, but at what point, you know? I don't know. I'm not a historian, so it's hard to say. Oh man, I'm almost inclined to end the stream and listen to content, but it's like I'm not sure whatever I listen to will even be better than me just talking about nothing. I mean, what's up with that? I've been listening to Mr. Snowflake. If anybody's ever gone to his channel, he covers that Amber Lynn Reed, that nearly 600-pound whale who gets a lot of attention online, makes her living as a content creator for many years now. Amber Lynn Reed. He's been doing a multi-part documentary series on called "Victims of an Empath." It's funny how somebody like Amber Lynn Reed at some point, the internet programs her mind, and now she views herself as empathetic, right? So he started doing this series of documentaries on, all the people she's victimized and called it Victims of an Empath. And this latest one is Amber Lynn Reed dates ladies when she's able to. So her girlfriend of many years, referred to as Beck, who I guess is a they them. Not who I don't even care at this point, whatever. It's just if I fuck up and don't say what they prefer, I don't. That's your problem. I don't give a fuck. But it's like, yeah, I'll do my best to hit the they them, as much as I'm able to. But if I don't perfectly practice that, I can't be bothered to give a fuck. So that's where we're at on the they them. But that's been pretty interesting. I'm still not all the way done with that. It's like almost 3 hours long, I want to say, but I mostly listen. And last night I actually like looked at the video, and it's fucking appalling, man. Mr. Snowflake does a real good job of zooming in, to the original content, the fair use content, and it definitely enhances some of the more just real evil. Just a lot of evil going on, man. A lot of gaslighting, manipulation. Yeah, sick, man. These people are sick. Oh, pardon me. Here's another Walmart right next door to a truck stop. Huh. Pretty cool. And unlike the last time, it's on the correct side of the interstate. I don't know how many times. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Although that could be a distribution center, actually. No, it says it's a super center. Huh. I don't know how many times I'm going to be able to resist this. Let's see if we need a break. I don't think we do, though. No, we don't. Our break will be fulfilled at the shipper or the receiver. So, yeah, probably not going to be able to justify a stop here, but what would I even buy? I could get 1 day of eggs. That's not really no point in that. I don't think I really need anything else. A new coffee cup. That's not worth stopping for. I'm trying to think of what's in the news. I haven't really. I guess I must not have looked at Drudge Report or. And I do look at that Citizen Free Press sometimes for the more right wing side of things, but I haven't looked at that in a while. It's all links to Twitter, man. They've really, even before Musk bought X, for whatever reason, a lot of the right wing people, the conservatives, even if in name only, have. Oh, wait a minute, is this? I see a gigantic parking lot. Oh, that's across the street. What is that? A casino? That must be a casino. First, I thought that was a truck stop, and I'm like, why is the parking lot in? No, it's a casino. And is that a gaming mall? Is that a sign of the gaming hall? Is that a sign of the times? I mean, that motherfucker is deserted. There's a couple of people in there. I know it's early in the day, but still. I guess 9:20 in the morning. You can't expect too much. This ain't Vegas. What was I talking about? I don't know. I forgot. Shit. Oh well. Perhaps. The news. Yeah. Uh, so I don't. I like going over to Citizen Free Press just to see what the MAGA is paying attention to. But then if they do interest me enough to click a link, it just takes me to X. I'm like, I don't want to go to X. I don't want to go to Twitter. I want to look at a news article. I don't want to. What I got to go watch some bullshit fucking short video. That might be a deep fake line. Some about whatever's going on. But I guess this Pete. They're talking about the Secretary of Defense may be getting replaced, and who knows. And then in typical fashion, the president has to say, well, he's doing a great job. That's our guy. But it's kind of like a college football coach right before they take a new job, and then the rumors get out there, so the media's asking him all about it, and he's like, "No, I love it here. I'm not going anywhere." And then like 1 week later, he's at his new school. It's kind of the same thing. It's not really representative of the vote of confidence is not really representative of much of anything, realistically speaking. Means almost nothing. Anyway, and I guess the rest of it's financial news, tariffs. I'm seeing articles, although this is never not the case, but And the dollar has weakened, the USD, but a lot of that seems to be on purpose, for whatever strategic advantages, because apparently a strong dollar is not just a good thing across the board necessarily. And then, way more talk of the potential end of the dollar as the world's reserve currency, which I'd say it's already not, what it used to be in the past as far as that status. But something in here rattling. What's rattling? Can I reach it? It's a question. Nope. I don't think I can. But I certainly, this was a couple of months ago, I guess, where I finally came to realize that when people talk about in this economy or really anything having to do with the economy, the function of the economy, and I'm not joking, I mean this is, as far as I can tell, this is 100% true. The function of the economy is to make rich people richer every moment into perpetuity, and it never fails to achieve its purpose. Now, the transactions of the underclasses, the proletariat, are also facilitated, by the so-called economy. But make no mistake, it's not for us. Its purpose is to make rich people richer. That's what it's designed to do, and that's what it does. And in the course of doing that, it also, carries out some ancillary, if I'm saying that right, ancillary function. Like, my me getting paid on direct deposit and having a debit card, whatever little piddling, money I have access to, which is still way more than a lot of folks. That's what's crazy. They say half the country is just completely given up on the idea of saving money just at all, which I don't know. I kind of figured it was already that way, but maybe people had fooled themselves in the past and weren't going to save, but then at least thought they were. But now maybe they realize, well, that's not going to fucking happen. Give up. I surrender. I give up. I resign. Oh man. Sorry about the yawning there. I must be relaxed. Well, since we've been non-chant pretty much the whole stream, this third stream of the day, I guess I can sign off because it's an hour and 10 minutes to the delivery, and it's not like I'll hang up and then start another live stream because I don't like the content I'm listening to. So I'll play that little trick on my mind. I know that rest area. I think I was there in my car during the last year. That looks like the same one. I might have gave a speech about the financial system. Maybe. Oh, is this a rest area up ahead? Maybe I'll pull in there and do I have any food I can eat? That's the question. I don't think I do. Huh. All right, we're out. See y'all probably tomorrow, early a.m. Bye.